Hello, this is the Goldfinger Sodcast. Hi, it's Joshua Sodikoff,
With a lone Goldfinger.
and we're broadcasting before the coming storm. That's tomorrow's primary. Lone, you excited about that?
Woo!
Lone is very obviously excited about that. So what we're attempting to do is get people to join this live hangout. This is something we've actually never done before, and we'll probably never do again. You can
Excited about that. So what we're attempting.
Oops, that I pulled up an old. It was the same stream, but it was streaming through our stream. Anyways, we're gonna talk about stuff. We were trying to line up people to join in. Rena Margulis, I was told, would be joining in. Rick Short might be joining in. Um, anyways, things are going to be happening. It's going to be pretty amazing. So Alone, you're going to be voting tomorrow. That's pretty crazy. Tell me, what's your take on things?
I mean, personally, I'm kind of scared of the idea of the voter participation. It's a double-handed thing. For me, it's fine because my vote counts more, right? If there are fewer people voting, my vote counts more in the long run. I'm personally excited to actually be able to have my opinion do something physical this time.
Mm-hmm.
If I believe in something, I vote for what I believe in, not just saying it like I did before I'm 18.
Yeah. So, Alone, let's just cover this first because we're going to focus less on this later. For the governor's position, who are you behind right now?
At this point, I am very much behind Jim Johnson. There were a couple of really good guys at the beginning, but uh, sadly, they did drop out. At this person, I think Jim Johnson is by far the best person, just because he kind of isn't afraid to take chances on things that can make New Jersey better.
Yes.
And when everyone's going to a bunch of political rallies, he just stops and talks with normal people. I think that's the sort of candidate we need right now in New Jersey.
Now, I'll tell you, in the beginning, I wasn't so crazy about Jim Johnson. I don't know. I just felt like he was like less like lower Cory Booker. But first of all, here's a few things. He's a real progressive. Now, on one hand, in the past, I've said that maybe Cory Booker is pretty great because even though he comes from this great past, he still manages to be moderate. I think Jim Johnson shows that growing up in similar conditions, you can still be a progressive and fight for that sort of change. What do you think about that? Can you go over his career a little bit?
Yeah, so Jim Johnson basically had spent a giant part of his life in government, unlike the other candidates, right? Unlike Phil Murphy, to be the front runner in this case, right? So Phil Murphy, whether it's good or bad, you can decide for yourself, right? But he did work in Goldman Sachs for a good portion of his career. What I like about Jim Johnson is kind of he's he's entrenched in government,
Yeah.
but he's not so succumb to what they call the swamp, right? So he knows how government works, he knows how to get stuff done, but he also knows how to connect with real people. He knows that the important thing for any candidate running anywhere is to make sure that they connect with the people that elect them. And I think that, if anything, will make him win.
So the one thing that I've noticed, at least, and although I haven't been able to take advantage of this, I've seen it, is that he's been having a lot of like local meetups. Uh, Jim Johnson, he
Yeah.
just he goes around. He like I think he was at our library. I wasn't around that day. Um, there was some sort of meetup of his supporters, like a local house. Um, he's been doing that sort of ground connection stuff. Now, okay, so obviously there's a few other guys you could listen to our first podcast if you're really interested in hearing more because it's a lot of the same, a lot of the same. Um, we we still have what's his face, the one with the face, the Phil Murphy, the Phil Murphy. I'm on his email list for some reason. Interesting emails. Sometimes he tries to make them look like they are replies, so I'm more likely to open them, but I don't open them because they're from the Phil Murphy. Phil Murphy. Um, for a while we're like, Phil Murphy, he could be decent, but he's big money, Big
The-
money, big money, big money.
Okay, so the thing
Yeah.
is, there you kind of have like sort of not huge scandals, right? But scandal after scandal, kind
Yeah.
of boiling up. So I feel like obviously he's not a bad candidate, not by any means, right?
Well, he kind of
He-
is. There
No,
was
and-
the
no,
recent
okay, so-
revelations that as head president of Goldman Sachs Asia, he knowingly exploited slave labor.
yeah, I know that's terrible, right? But here's my question:
Yeah.
aren't a lot of Asian companies right now basically using slave labor? Like isn't that the idea of why China labor is cheap?
Along you. Okay. First of all, China actually isn't that cheap anymore.
Yeah, I
Companies
know it's getting less and less.
companies
But
are
back
leaving
then,
China. That's
oh.
why the services sector is becoming bigger. Hence my debate plan for this season. Well,
Last season.
I know it better.
I'm talking about earlier. What was it? Like around the early 2000s, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was cheaper. The conditions aren't the same.
Yeah.
Whatever.
For me, he's obviously not a wonderful candidate.
Yeah,
In my opinion, like let's compare him with someone like Hillary Clinton for the presidential election, right?
kind of similar, except he's less qualified. But
Yeah, less qualified, and she had many scandals that kind of showed that she was blatantly, possibly bought out. Right?
yeah, I mean,
This
but
is
the
at
thing
this
is, like nobody's cared about this election so far. So when would the scandals have emerged? Like
well,
put
okay.
one
The idea is
weekly
there would have been
article about him.
if something came out like, well, he was ambassador to Germany, he specifically helped Goldman Sachs for banks, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's pretty extreme. Alone, you
But
don't joke about that.
but that's the idea. I haven't seen him yet abuse his power in government.
Okay, fine.
That was
Fair. That's
my sort of thing, right? But at
Yeah.
the same time, are there better candidates? I think a lot of them are better.
that's
I think I like.
kind of a low bar though.
I don't think so because you have very good candidates. You have Jim Johnson. You have I forget his name, the person who kind of uncovered Bridgegate.
Yeah.
You have people who want. I heard the story. One of them was almost shot by a kid, and the kid was being put on trial, and he testified for the kid and got the kid to not be convicted, and then help the kid out.
Mhm.
Like these are sort of people we're having running.
Yeah.
I don't know. I personally think that our choices this time aren't that bad.
I mean, it seems like our front runner is kind of bunk.
Yeah.
But
But he's
um
not bad by any means. He's not up to par with the best.
yeah,
All of these people are
I guess
are
so.
very qualified and very they have different things that they're good at, except for, in my opinion, Phil Murphy.
Yeah.
I think that's the way I'll put it.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about the Republicans, because I don't think we're going to talk about them too much.
Okay,
Like,
the problem is
until the
so
results
the
come out.
only way they can somehow win, in my opinion, is if you have Hirsch Singh. That because
No,
Hirsch
no, I
Singh
mean,
is more
like,
of an outsider.
candidate. There's two of them alone.
Hmm?
Who's running for that? We have
We have
well,
the
the guy with the Italian
deputy
Citarelli and Guadano or whatever. Yeah, I mean,
you have a bunch of establishment Republicans running, and that's I think what their mistake was. No one's, especially the deputy
not that
governor
bad
of
of a
Chris
mistake.
Christie.
Okay, fine. Well, nobody likes him. That's fair.
So I have a feeling like, well, you saw his approval rating. It's not wonderful. Okay.
What was I saying? Yeah, I mean, however it goes with them, I mean, chances are with Christie's approval rating, they're already like so beat. Nothing's gonna come out of that. Now, there's a few people that I guess Oh, and we forgot a Republican. My favorite Republican. Alone, you know who it is.
Hirsch Singh.
Hirsch
Yeah, that,
Singh.
that's what I was saying,
Now
right?
he's an engineer. He is skilled. He's an entrepreneur, and he wants to legalize and tax marijuana. Now you might say, Josh, that's crazy. No wonder he's.
Wait, we have Rena
Yeah.
Margulis on the phone.
We do.
Hello, Rena.
Hello. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for
Thanks
being
for coming
social
in.
here. I can hear you on Google Hangouts, but you cannot hear me.
Yeah, you're on speaker right now.
Excellent.
Into the
So,
into the microphone.
Yes.
Thank you
Can
for
you hear me?
joining us.
Josh, can you hear her?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you very well. So Rena Margulis is running under the Column 7 ticket. I think we've discussed her a little bit in the past because she's
There's
a big
more
part
than
of the.
one way to communicate. It's all right.
So we actually have a few questions for you, just about what's been going on so far. Alon, you want to start us off?
Yeah. We were just wondering in general, what motivated you in the first place to become invested in Cherry Hill politics?
That was receiving a notice from the township that there was going to be a zoning overlay approved for some neighboring properties. And that was basically all the information that I had. They told me that there was going to be a township council meeting on the 23rd of May of last year where I could appear, or my lawyer could appear, to comment on this. And if I wanted to get more information, I had to go into the township hall during regular business hours, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And fortunately, my work life is such that I was able to do that. And when I went in, I found out that what they had in mind for this neighboring property was 473 apartments in buildings 55 feet tall. And I was just appalled. I come from nearly 20 years in Palo Alto, California, where if the city had attempted something like this, there would have been outrage, heads would have rolled. It would have been inconceivable that neighbors would not be fully informed of a major project like this. So after I found out about it, I alerted all the rest of the neighbors, and then I was even more appalled to find out that the property owners in this targeted property, they had never been told at all. So fortunately, we were able then to take that fact to court, and in the presence of taking this to court, the township said, well, I guess we're not going to go ahead and do this. But it showed me a way that the township is operating that was deeply, deeply disturbing. And once this experience happened to me, then I started to go to every township council meeting that I could possibly get to, because frankly, I did not trust them.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been active politically for just a little over a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you mentioned it when you were talking about coming from Palo Alto.
Josh?
You frequently reference that as a model for our town
Don?
council. What do you think is the main component?
Have I lost you?
Can you hear us?
On here? Alone?
I can hear you now, yes.
Can you hear Josh? Josh, talk right now.
Okay.
I cannot
Actually, could
hear
you just ask the
Josh.
question? Okay, you just
One
go with the next question.
Okay.
1 second.
Anyways, while we're dealing with this technical difficulty, we were a little while back when we were working on our sanctuary community thing. We were in contact with Mrs. Margulis a little bit. She had us live stream one of the council sessions, which is a little fun. Alone? Alone? Alone, do you have the questions? Okay, I guess I'm managing this myself for a little bit. So basically the way that that the primary works, in essence, is that at least in New Jersey, you can, if you're registered under a party, which the plurality of people are not, you can only vote for in the primary for candidates in that party. For example, if you're registered as a Democrat, you can only vote under the Democrats. If you're registered as a Republican, you can only vote under the Republicans. The Democrats, I think, comprise 7 million registered members. Republicans are 1.2 million registered members. Now, there's 2.7 independents, and the way it works, at least around here, is that you declare which ticket you're going to vote under, and that's sort of how you that's sort of how they get that, because if you could vote under both columns, you could obviously try to destructively vote. For example, say you're a Democrat and you want to vote under both, and you vote for Hirsch Singh, so you can destroy all the other Democrats. Sorry, I'm continuing to work on those technical difficulties. Anyways, where was I on this? So we at least get ballots delivered to us well in advance. Sorry about that. I'm going to hang up for a little bit. Hopefully, Alone will somehow get this working. One sec. Alone, if you can hear me, wherever you are in this wide world, I'm asking you if you can disappear for a minute, hang up real quick, and then come back in. Because it's definitely recording me, but I don't think it's getting you. Hello. Okay, I guess I'll just stop the broadcast.